You are off the clock with Trish and Steve. Hey, Steve Bose.
Hello? Where am I looking? Oh, over here.
You're looking there like, I'm like, what are you looking for?
This doesn't matter.
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
I'm I'm I've been traveling. The time change as well.
I
Uh,
know.
from changing the time, right, which we all had to do over the weekend, and
Yeah.
then I'm not in my normal time zone, which I'm completely thrown off. Everything's wrong. So I'm trying to just
Do you have a cup of coffee?
I do.
Let's
Cheers.
just have a cup of coffee. Cheers to you. I know. I wanted to do this early. I feel like I've been up and working, but I'm like really like haphazard today. I feel like I've got 20 million things going on and I keep jumping from like thing to thing. And finally I thought, you know what? I just need to take a break. So thank you for taking a break with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, it's good to try to get recalibrated, if you will.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try and do that after this.
Well, I have to go to the dentist after this, so
Nice. That's fun.
I don't know. I don't know why this is. I guess if anyone out there has this happen, let me know because I would be curious. I never minded going to the dentist until like lately, like the last year or two. Now I really just don't want to go. I go, but I'm like all freaked out about it. I don't do you think that's like a COVID reaction or something? Like just having someone that close to me.
Yeah, that's awful.
And I like my dentist, he's so great, so it's no reflection on him or his abilities or anything, he's
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah, it makes me really anxious to go, so I
Well,
don't know.
everybody's got their like kind of view on personal space in general, and I'm one that I want lots of it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I see what you're saying. In fact, even these video calls after a while, I'm like, come on now, back off, you know.
You feel like we're too we're too close? Oh, okay,
I think
that's
we
a
need,
bigger problem right there.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like I like this distance with you. This is a good distance, like, just away. No, hey, listen, you are in town, so I think
What?
I'll get to see you tomorrow, right, to do
Perhaps.
actual work, which is good, but can we share, like, so you came into town the other night, you had been somewhere else traveling, and we went bowling. How did you like bowling?
It was fine. And
Is that too close having people bowling around you? Was that too close for you?
yeah, no, that part of it wasn't great, but,
Yeah.
bowling stuff there are a lot of things, and I think curling's one of them. I do wanna try curling, like,
Wouldn't that be
the
fun?
Winter Olympic sport curling, because
Yeah.
bowling, curling, I'd even throw tennis in there a little bit. It's like one of those kinds of activities that you think, "Oh, I can do that, I can be good at that," and then
Mhm.
it's way harder than you think, like,
Way
to be good at it. But yeah, I think that's the next one for me is curling. I'm gonna figure out a place to go do that. I
I
wanna try
wonder
curling.
I wonder where you can do that. I mean, are there it's gotta be like only certain places have it. Kind of like, I was listening to NPR over the weekend, and they had, a little segment with one of the, Olympic bobsledders, and she was a
Nice.
driver, and she was saying, like, there are only 2 places in the country where you can actually go and do that. So, it's
Right,
really
right.
difficult sometimes to have them do their sports. They train in other ways, but they can't even actually go and do their thing, so
Yeah, I guess those are pretty pricey to build those bobsled slash
Mhm.
luge slash skeleton runs. I think
Yeah,
they do all of them on the same type of run, I think, all those sports.
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like a several $1 million kinds of proposition to build one of those and then maintain it, right? That's probably why there's only a couple. It's probably what in the places where we've had Winter Olympics here in the US, right? I would guess is where they are. Salt Lake City probably has one, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we've got a good question coming in here from a friend, Josh Rock. Did my daughter beat Steve? You know what? Actually, Carly was not with us. Carly has full on like bowling from a high school perspective is over. She's full on to track. So she was actually at a track meet competing for the opportunity to go to indoor state. So she won first with her team, first in the 4x4, second in the 4x2, going to indoor state. The real question, Josh, is did I beat Steve?
I did beat her in the running race though, just FYI.
Oh,
That
you
happened.
did? Okay. Steve
Yeah.
actually it's funny, we bowled 2 games. Steve beat me in the first game, and then I beat him in the second game. So, I feel like we're oddly really evenly matched, you know, with that. So, anyway. Oh, Steve come curling in Minnesota. So, there's curling in Minnesota?
Yeah, well, that's one of the places where it's super popular. Like I watched the Olympics and I noticed that lots of
I
the
didn't know
American
that.
curling folks and like
What?
the Olympic trials and the Olympics, they live in the Minnesota area, or they live in Minnesota or nearby. Wisconsin, Minnesota seems to be the big hotbeds for curling in the US, as far as I could
So
tell.
Steve, okay, I've got an idea. So we've changed up the HR Happy Hour podcast. We've changed it to At Work in America, where we're actually focusing on telling stories about real workers in America, right? Like what are the stories kind of behind the trends? We should go to Minnesota and try and meet some people who do curling and see what their jobs are. Wouldn't that be fun?
Okay, that's okay. See what their jobs are. Okay, yeah, yeah, okay.
Speaking of jobs, oh my gosh, my friend Cheryl Throgmorton, we used to work together at Children's. Hey, Cheryl, cheers with the cup of coffee this morning. And Cheryl just got, I think, promoted, I believe, at her current job. So
Nice.
congratulations, Cheryl.
Good for her.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I feel like we're on Cameo. We're giving
Uh,
shouts out today. Hey, if
yeah,
you're
that's
listening, let
good.
us know who we can give a
Did
shout
you
out to.
I did write a couple of notes for this,
Okay,
which
what do you
I
got?
feel like now I must use. Did you see over the weekend our friend and your friend and mine, Mr. Tom Brady, unretiring, the footballer, the famous footballer,
Don't get me
unretiring,
started.
Trish, after
Don't.
45 days of retiring.
No,
But here's my question, Trish. I don't care about the Tom Brady thing at all, really.
I do.
But let's talk about like you, say, as the boss or the HR person. If someone retired, say, in the
Hmm.
organization, and then 45 days later
No.
showed up back to say, "Hey, I'm back." Are we taking this person back? Let's say the specific position had not been filled. Maybe it was posted, but not filled. You taking that person back?
You know what?
I'm thinking no,
I'll
probably.
probably be controversial here. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, and here's why. Because I think that
A lot of privilege there, Tom. But go ahead.
whether it's retirement, but this kind of irks me anyway. When you retire, retire, go do something else, right? Same with like quitting your job. I'm down if you want to quit your job. That's totally fine. Then go do something else. To me, that's your internal, subconscious telling you it is time to go do something else. So what happens is though, I was just reading about people who there was an article, I'll share it later when I finish the whole thing. It was quite long, but it was talking about I saw it on Fox Business where people have quit during the Great Resignation and 70%, according to a study they did, and I don't know if it's Fox that did this or someone they contracted with, but anyway, I'll find out. But they were saying that people now regret quitting their jobs, right? And so you sort of have a little bit of remorse once you do it. I think that's what's happening with these retirements. But even in our industry, people retire and then they never go away. It's like, go away, right? If
What?
you're
We're
going to
sick of you.
retire, go away. I don't know. Go sit on
Yeah,
a
I
beach.
feel pretty strongly that whenever I do retire, if I do, I'm not
Mhm.
coming back. Or I would go do something else like that's way,
Okay,
way
perfect.
different maybe. Like, go
Yes.
do go work the carnival circuit like I've always dreamed of, that kind of thing.
You've mentioned the carnival a number of times. I really think we should like figure out a way to go interview some carnival workers that
I
just
I'll bet Trish I could make that happen. I
can
bet I
we
coll
road
just show
we
up
need
to
like a
I
road
I'll
trip.
I'll bet I could get a job at the carnival is my guess. I'm guessing they're probably gonna be struggling for workers like everywhere else,
I'm
that's struggling
sure.
for workers once the summertime, carnival season picks up. I even read a piece, Trish, I get these, like, human resources/workplace slash workplace alerts. I get them in my feed reader deal.
Because 'cause you're
Every
cool like that.
I get a lot of them, and I was just reading an article over the weekend about just random, University of Arizona, right? I was talking about the University of Arizona and the labor shortage is making them like they had something like 34 eating establishments for students across the entire campus. Must be a pretty big campus, I guess.
Okay,
And of like the 34 of them, 8 of them are closed because they just can't get enough staff to keep them
right.
open. So 8 out of 34. So that's some percent.
That's
I
a
don't know.
lot.
I don't know how to do math, but like it's everywhere. How about that?
There we go. You know what? I think you're right. I think it is everywhere. It's funny, we were talking offline this weekend too, like, I was kind of being flustered about the fact that, like, school lunches aren't what they used to be and just kind of a whole big thing around that, and one of the
Quite the
excuses
scandal here in Southern Illinois. I've heard
I
about this.
know,
Yeah,
and I'm not
people are
gonna get
talking.
all into it because 'cause I'll get upset, but school lunches are not being served as they're supposed to be here where I live, and when I questioned that, like, I heard 2 excuses. One is supply chain, and the other is, "Well, people have resigned and we don't have workers." I'm kinda like, "You know what? Join the crowd," right? We all have had this happen. We're all living in this world. Get creative. Get creative, do your job, and figure it out, like, a little bit. I'm feeling like we're kind of, like, using the Great Resignation as a crutch. We're kind of
Okay. Well, yeah,
you've
no, I
gotta
think
just
that's a
work,
great point, but I
right?
wanna can I we have time for one more item? I just wrote this
Yes,
down like 5 minutes before we came on.
please do.
Trisha, I never heard of this term before, and I love the labor market, and I love the workplace stuff, blah, blah, blah. You ever heard of the term the reservation wage? That term? I'd never heard of it before,
I
like
don't
8
think
minutes
so,
ago.
no.
So,
Reservation wage.
apparently the reservation wage is like an economics term. It means the average lowest job wage/salary that a job seeker would accept for taking a new role, right?
Okay.
So, on
I
average,
think it's
again,
low.
it started to rise through the pandemic. That was the point of the story. It was the story talking
Okay.
about everybody quitting their jobs. Trish, the number, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, the average, this is across all jobs, is about $60,000, which is really high if you think about all the jobs, right? That you could possibly have out there and all the wage levels. $60,000, which again is probably not probably enough to live in most major kind of cities and live too well, right? Because the cost of everything's gone up so much. But that number's gone up a lot. And so like places like the food establishments at the University of Arizona, maybe the cafeteria at the high school where you live, right? They're really competing at high inflation, wages are going up, workers are quitting everywhere, and people are demanding more on average to want to go back, right? It's really the kind of perfect storm, if you will, in the labor market. So there you go. We got to I'll work on it some more. I don't know. I'll come up with some more stats for Wednesday, but that's it. There, I wanted to share the reservation wage. I learned something today. How about that?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be something different, honestly. I thought you were gonna say it was like, at what percent would people leave their job? Like, what percent increase would they leave their job? Because I have heard of that, but I
That's a
don't know
good
what,
stat to think about. Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
that's, I mean, even before the pandemic, that's how you got a raise, right? A significant raise. You go find another job at another company.
well, right, right.
Yeah.
Or you at least make them understand that you could do that, right? You didn't wanna use it. I hated people who would do it, like, as a threat, but yeah, that's
Well,
a strong word. I just said hate.
I've got another thrice weekly video blog after me, Trish. So we're gonna have to negotiate later if I'm gonna
Oh, we're
stick
gonna
around on
okay, we're
this
negotiating.
deal. So
All
just
right.
FYI.
Very good. Hey, as we wrap up today, I do want to give a shout out. We had to the Waterloo bowling teams here, varsity bowling. They're so great. But wanted I they gave me a nice framed picture and a nice card from the girls. So I just want to shout out all these young ladies who and it's a little bit of a glare, but yeah, to the Waterloo varsity bowlers. They are outstanding young women and are going to be doing great things in the
Most of them.
future. Our future
Most of them
workers.
probably aren't gonna come to too much probably,
They're all
but just
amazing. They're all
that's just what the
amazing.
number just that's what the numbers would say,
I don't believe
hopefully.
it. Hey, you know what? I will say
1 or
this
2 of them will probably end up, go
about
ahead.
student athletes. I think students who can manage to keep their grades up and then also be athletes, they amaze me. They do more than we do every single day. So, shout out and kudos to them. All right. Hey, thanks everyone for weighing in. Hi again to our friends Josh Rock and Crystal. Crystal. Oh my goodness. I got Crystal
Get
on
this
brain.
right, Trish.
Carol Throckmorton. We will see everyone back here on Wednesday. Bye for now.